Kia ora guys and welcome back to the Black Jersey. My name's Max, I'm the host over here at this channel, and a massive thank you to my patrons as I say at the start of every single video. Just remember as well, if you normally watch my videos but you aren't subscribed, to hit the button, like the video and comment at the end. Anyway, for today I'm releasing my Rugby World Cup team of the tournament a lot earlier than a lot of the other creators will be, because when the World Cup final hits us, I want to spend as much time possible researching, doing the analysis as to how the winning team between the All Blacks and the Springboks win the World Cup. So yes, I've got 23 players from my team of the tournament, gonna name the bench just to satisfy a few you Kiwis so I can show my bias and everything at the start. And I am wearing a Welsh jersey because, well, I wanted to spring a surprise with this wee video for you guys. So first off, I'll just name the bench quick fire to you. So I've got 16, Julian Montoya as my reserve hooker. Awesome captain for Los Pumas. 17, I've got Andrew Porter of Ireland. 18, Tyrell Lomax of New Zealand. 19, Will Rowlands of Wales himself. Nicolas Martins is one of a few Tier 2 nations you'll be seeing as well. Tier 2 nation players, I should have said, sorry. I do have a few of those guys on this video because, simply put, a lot of them really impressed me, and the fact that I've got two open side flankers in my starting lineup, well, it means I need a bit of cover for that line out off the bench. My reserve halfback is going to be Aaron Smith. Richie Mo'unga is going to be alongside him on the bench, and of course Darcy Graham of Scotland. I had to have the token Scottish player because, simply put, Darcy Graham, too good to leave out, man. Well, now get on to the starting 15, starting with the loose head prop. Now for Ox and Chair, who I've chosen in the number 1 jersey, not just to make him happy since he follows me on Instagram, not just to make the Bok fans happy, but because, simply put, the whole team of the Springboks have won 19 scrum penalties across the tournament. I'm not sure how many of these 19 scrum penalties have gone to Inshare because the stats source where I get it from, Ultimate Rugby, doesn't quite specify, but I'm willing to bet probably a fair portion of my net worth on at least half of these involving Ox Inshare. Because, simply put, he has been absolutely outstanding for South Africa. Not only did he save them from a quarterfinal exit, but he saved them from a semi-final exit. He's been an absolute beast in the scrum, and of course, a very hard worker of a defender with a tackle rate of 85%. Not too flashy with the ball in hand, just does the grunt work, does as he's told, and does the core roles of his position as a loose head prop absolutely perfectly. This year, I believe the 28-year-old has just hit peak form and become the best scrummager in the world. Now, as we go along to the hooker, I've chosen to go for Piato Malvaca from France because, although a few people are going to ask me what the heck's up with the 225 metres he's run, simply put, not even South Africa could contain him. He ran over 90 metres against South Africa, and he was averaging well over 60 minutes a game as well, because he played every single game for France and, played 68 minutes on opening night, getting himself 3 tries as well, just having an overall outstanding tournament. He's got to be the first choice hooker for France going forward after this World Cup, and his tackle percentage, amazing. Really close pass to carry ratio there as well, with 23 passes and 2 turnovers, 1 winning the ball in the turnover. Piato Malvaca, this guy can quite simply do it all. The first Tier 2 player that I'm going to have on this list is going to be Ben Tameifuna at tight head prop. It was a bit of a weird strategy choosing to have the captain on the bench. And yes, Sonatani Takalua, who's the captain of Tonga, will be a bit miffed about that, but quite simply, Ben Tameifuna did a really good job when speaking to the referees in Takalua's place, and for a big guy that is 151 kilograms, he was the heaviest player at the World Cup. It's crazy to see him averaging over 60 minutes per game. The thing is as well, this isn't even the biggest that Ben Tameifuna has been. He was 166 kilograms at one stage earlier in his life. So yes, this guy, enormous engine for a big fella with 91% for his tackle ratio. He was also the second to top try scorer for Tonga, getting himself 2 tries. And wow, the scrum, man, that was probably one of the best things going for Tonga. They just didn't quite, click as an attacking unit. Their lineout wasn't very good. They were a bit questionable maybe over the breakdown with Solomoni Funaki getting sent home early due to injury. But Ben Tameifuna in the scrum really kept things going. He kept, the Tier 1 nations honest. So I've got to have the big fella in my lineup. The only nation that's got multiple players in the starting 15's forward pack is South Africa, and their second player is going to be Ebenezer Beth. because simply put, a lot of people are billing the World Cup final as a potential for either Etzebeth or Savia to win World Rugby Player of the Year for the men's, of course, and Etzebeth has got pretty fair claims not to be robbed of a nomination this time because, he's got a massive engine, and though he's only run 24 metres off 20 carries so far this tournament, it doesn't tell you all you need to know because he really helps in the scrum, offering so much of that power as the enforcer, and he's often binding to other carriers, giving them his weight to help out. So though the stats don't record a lot of the work that Etzebeth does, it is really, really impactful in how the Springboks play in the tight spaces. Great to see him making 10 passes in comparison to 20 carries as well. That's pretty decent, and 89% for his tackle percent. He's making a lot of tackles, and I'm willing to bet he would be a little bit further up the list of the top 15 if it weren't for the fact that he got subbed off early at one stage of the tournament. He's also won one turnover and stolen a line-out throughout the tournament as well, and he's just so good. The fact that I have Etzebeth as a bit of a power lock in the locking duo, it makes me want to go for Amato Fakatava of Japan as the number 5, because Amato Fakatava, he's the kind of guy who's going to do a bit more of the flashy stuff, hang out on the wide channels, and wow, the try he got against Argentina, that has got to be one of the best I've ever seen. He also bagged himself a double and man of the match against Chile in a really good performance over there. Amato Fakatava as well, he hurts you hard, 6'5", 118 kg. It's very hard for Japan to get proper, powerful players like this, but not only does he offer them that grunt that they were really struggling to get before the World Cup, but he also offers them, that carrying out wide, as we can see with his 77 meters. He was very solid over the ball and in the line-out too, getting a line-out steal during the tournament and winning 3 turnovers as well. He is definitely going to win Japan Rugby Player of the Year because my goodness, have they improved with him in the locking jersey. I cannot ignore the top tackler of the World Cup, so I've selected Marcos Kramer in his 6. Argentinians put their blindside flanker in the 6 jersey, so hence the reason that Marcos Kramer wears 7, even though he's 2 meters tall. Kramer is the top tackler, as I said, with 74 from 90 tackles, putting him up to 83% for his ratio, so he does meet the criteria of forwards having a tackle percentage of over 80%. He's also been very prolific over the ball, winning himself 5 turnovers, and considering the fact that, those 52 carries have all been in very tight space, he doesn't often roam out wide, Marcos Kramer, so making 90 meters off 52 carries, it's not too bad either, pretty good stuff. I told you guys I was going to have a surprise here, and that's because I've got Jack Morgan of the Welsh as my captain. Jack Morgan has been an absolute revelation for Wales. Will Rowlands and Jack Morgan, man, they have just been absolutely carrying that team on their backs at the breakdown, and Morgan is very high up in the top tacklers of the tournament as well, with 61 out of 70 tackles and 4 turnovers won, so an absolutely amazing defender. The thing about him being just 5'11" and 102 kg though is he can be in pods formed by backs, which is very odd. We've seen that a fair bit from Wales, so he's run 90 meters and scored 2 tries. He played the full 80 in all 4 of the games he was selected for as his co-captain alongside Dowie Lake, and yes, I've made him captain for this lineup because, simply put, the way a lot of the teams have performed during this World Cup, it's kind of made me start to think, is it worth having the guys in your spine, the key decision makers for your team, in as captains? In a lot of cases, I don't think so, and since this is a bit of a team of the tournament, just the players who stand out to me, not necessarily the best in the world, Jack Morgan is the guy who I think has to be captain. A lot of people were grumpy that he wasn't in Team of the Week at one stage, but every single time I made a Team of the Week, he was the guy who was next on the radar, and so Jack Morgan has to be in Team of the Tournament just for having that consistency both on and off the ball. The number 8 is Ardie Savia. The fact that he wasn't nominated for World Player of the Year last year, absolutely disgusting, and I just fawn over this guy every single time he plays because look at all these stats. He's so active both on and off the ball with 7 turnovers. He's one of the top jacklers of this tournament, and he's also up there in the top 15 for tackles made with a ratio of 94% as well. The fact that he's making so many passes as well, 51 passes compared to 60 carries, it's off the chain for a loose forward who is just excellent. It's been nice to see his kicks going over to Will Jordan as well, just unleashing a full proper skill set there. I just don't have words to describe Artie Savia anymore. I pick him for pretty much any fantasy team I've got that he's eligible for because he is world class. We're now just going to have a bit of a quick ad break before we get on to the backline. And look, I know I'm going to shock a lot of people by not picking Antoine Dupont because I've got Corbus Reinach of the Springboks in as my 9. Seabok fans, I don't dislike your team at all. Anyway, Dupont, he was very, very good against Namibia, but he was kind of underwhelming against both the All Blacks and the Springboks, and he also did, of course, miss, games due to injury. Corbus Reinach, on the other hand, if South Africa weren't starting him, they would absolutely be falling apart in the first half because this guy's, so much calmer than Willemse and Lebok. He's really, really just guiding him through difficult times. So Andre Pollard might just end up starting because Reinach is having to do so much work with guiding these guys. His passing game has been absolutely crisp, and it was awesome to see him get a hat-trick earlier in the tournament. He's got 4 tries as well so far, so very, very respectable at 33 years old. This guy is a beast as well. He's got 83% for his tackle ratio, despite being a small guy. 2 turnovers as well. Great to see him active at the breakdown. Corbus Reinach has been so awesome in 2023, so I couldn't just let it go unnoticed. I know I'm going to get absolutely flamed for picking Owen Farrell and not Antoine Dupont, but here we go, the guy that you love to hate. He is the only player in that England backline right now that is even remotely close to being world class. Joe Marchant's pretty good, but they don't seem to know if Freddie Steele is the 15. Marcus Smith has kind of been in and out of the starting 15, and Owen Farrell, man, he's been carrying them so hard as a game manager. And he may not offer too much of running, but actually, when we look at the stats, he can run. And dang, dude, he's kicking a lot, getting a lot of points for England with, not really any try-scoring threats out wide. When Farrell's on the pitch, that's the only time where England really look like scoring at all. His tackle percentage as well, very, very high. Some people don't like the way he uses his technique, but simply put, at least he's accurate, and he's also going to win you a fair few turnovers. The 10 channel is often a channel that, crash ball runners try to target a fair bit, but with Owen Farrell in there, it's going to be a little bit difficult compared to if Richie Mwanga was in there because Farrell does put up some pretty robust hits. I don't have any other English players in this team because England have not had a very good 2023, and I would hate to think how bad they would be without Owen Farrell, who is absolutely saving them. He is their greatest ever player. If Farrell was from any other country, everyone would say he's better than Dan Carter, and he would be far more respected if he wasn't English. My midfield combination, because I've got another goal-kicking player at fullback, I've got to plug the hole with Bundy Aki's defence from 12. It's such a shame that at 33 years old, we might not see him play a test match again because, boy, he had a fantastic World Cup. He played the full 80 in every single match he was selected for. Also, Ireland's top try scorer with 5 tries. Nice to inflate his try to test match ratio because he definitely deserved a lot more tries earlier in his career. Aki also ran 446 metres for the tournament. Just look at those running stats, crazy. 81 carries. He's by far the guy who's carried the most in this tournament. No one's even going to get close to him when it finally does come to an end. But the thing is with Aki, he's also an excellent playmaker, coming in to make the kicks, coming in to make the offloads and the pass. Nice to see a try assist on that record as well. And because I've been pretty underwhelmed, to be honest, with pretty much every first choice number 13 in this tournament. Rieko Ioane, Gail Fiku, Gary Ringrose, George North, all good but not quite there, so I've just decided to go for flair for the number 13. I've gone for Waisia Naithalevu, the Fijian captain. This guy is very, very fun to watch, and look at the work he does with ball in hand, just invaluable for Fiji as the captain. Also has a lot of mana, real control over the team, they know who's boss, and that's exactly what a young team still really just deciding on an identity needs. His tackle percentage isn't the best in the world, but I don't think it's much to worry about considering Bundy Aki is in there at 12 and Owen Farrell is in there at 10. I don't think it's much of a big issue because ultimately he may not be the best 13 in the world, but he's the one that stood out to me the most. He's the one who has impressed me the most in this World Cup, so I've got Waisia Naithalevu in as my 13. As for the wingers, I'm not even going to give them jersey 14, jersey 11 because none of the left wingers in the World Cup have really impressed me either. Duhan van der Merwe a bit Semiran Dradra a bit inconsistent, and so I've got to have both Will Jordan and Damian Peno in the team. We'll go over Jordan so I can shower him with praise for equaling Jonah Lomu and King Julian's record that's now shared with Habana as well. Will Jordan, man, played the full 80 every time he's been picked, and he's run more meters than he has minutes played. Just ridiculous stuff. He's made 12 clean breaks as well, so he's second on the overall stat chart for that one, but he's also making so many passes coming off the wing to be an extra playmaker as he plays fullback at club level for the Crusaders. With 36 passes, 5 offloads and 2 try assists, he's well more than just a one-dimensional strike threat waiting out on the wing to receive the ball. He's so valuable with just working himself into set moves decided by Joe Schmidt as the attack coach as well, and with 88% as a tackle percentage, you just cannot overlook this man. His defense has finally reached a world-class standard after me being a bit frustrated for a few years. I think he'll be finally ready to take on the 15 jersey next year, as he also has won 2 turnovers in this World Cup. The other winger, as I said, Damian Peña, the best player in the world. Look guys, his tackle percentage probably hasn't been the best in this World Cup just because of the fact that France have a bit of a sliding defense strategy, and because he goes in to strip the ball and win turnovers, that kind of makes him miss the tackle as the opposition is still standing up. So it's a bit of a pro and con thing, as he has won the most turnovers out of any player I've got on this list. And man, the work he does with ball in hand, just like Jordan, he's run more meters than he's played minutes, and he was also the scorer of 6 tries from 4 games. Like, crazy, man. Just unbelievable. He'll fend you, he'll step you, he'll run over you. He's so quick, especially for a guy that prefers playing centre at club level. It's why he's beaten at 22 defenders and made 13 clean breaks off just 40 carries. But much like Jordan, he will come off the wing, he will use his distribution ability as he prefers playing centre, and he'll hold the ball in both hands, making it really hard to read where the ball's going. It's just so difficult to defend. 5 offloads, 5 try assists, 28 passes compared to 40 carries. Absolutely crazy. Tackle percentage may not be too high, but with the 8 turnovers, he absolutely makes up for it. The last guy I've got for today has probably got the most full stat sheet thanks to his kicking game. That is Thomas Ramos of the French. Ramos has had an excellent 2023, though France will be very disappointed with how the World Cup. He's probably one of the few French players who left the World Cup improving his reputation after a bit of a shocker against Uruguay and really just choking badly against South Africa, who got a well-deserved win. Thomas Ramos just Mr. Reliable with ball in hand, as we can see. Not the crazy high stats we're looking for, but always gets it done, always looks to unlock his teammates, and with a tackle percentage of 70%, like, we probably can't read into that one too much. Nice to see him over the ball at one stage as well, and you see just with the passes, he's coming up all the time, acting as a second playmaker for the French with 47 passes, 1 offload, 2 try assists. That's more passing that he's doing, carrying. Thomas Ramos as well, to be honest, I don't think anyone's going to catch him as the leading point scorer of this World Cup. Owen Farrell is a fair few points behind Ramos. He'll have to score 16 to beat him in the bronze final, so I think it's safe to say Ramos is probably going to finish off as the leading point scorer of the Rugby World Cup. Now guys, that has been my team of the tournament, as I don't want the winner of the World Cup final to really impact my decisions and kind of affect my thoughts on the tournament as a whole way too much, and so that's why I've chosen to release it early. Please make sure to respectfully share your team of the tournament down below. I'd love to see a few of the picks because there are so many excellent world-class players that I haven't been able to have room for, such as, you know, the George Norths of the world, the Ethan de Groots of the world. There are so many just world-class guys. Maybe even we could shout people like Sia Khaleesi because he's also world-class. Leave down all those names I've missed out because there are plenty of other great players that have been at the 2023 Rugby World Cup. Do remember as well to support me over on Patreon or support me over on Instagram if you enjoy my content. If you can't afford Patreon though, it's okay guys, I understand that. Just continue watching the videos for a long time and like the videos. I'm going to get out of here guys, got to have my dinner, so I'll see you later. Cheers for watching from Max.